Today, we're diving into the secrets of building revenue-generating in-game shops. This session is inspired by our new book, Best Practices for In-Game Shops. We've received tons of feedback, honestly, and lots of questions about the book, about the strategies, and we decided to cover advanced strategies and real case studies in this webinar. My name is Julia. I'm the head of growth at Balancy, and I'm excited to introduce you to today's participants, Michal, Korek, and Misha Khripin.
Hey.
Hi, everyone.
I'm sorry if I'm going to be confusing like Michal, Misha, Michael, Mike, because honestly, it's a little bit challenging to have two mics in one webinar.
So many mics in the industry.
Yeah. All right. So Michal Korek is the product owner at 10 Square Games. He manages their top performing title, Fishing Clash. And during his career, he has worked on over 20 titles, including hits like Hunt Royale by Boombit, which he, by the way, scaled to 7-figure monthly revenue. Michal, I also know a curious fact about you. You were one of the youngest university teachers in Poland. Is that true? And if yes, what did you teach your students?
Yeah, it's correct. It's just 1 year, but I was lecturing on the game design course. So, yeah.
Okay, awesome. Actually, I think this experience is going to be very beneficial for our today's webinar because I think you're the person that knows how to do things on practice because you're the product owner at really well-performing titles. But at the same time, you know how to teach and how to show the material to the audience in the understandable, comprehensible way.
I mean, I hope so, but with speaking, it's always like different, but I hope so.
We will check today. And we have the second participant, who is Misha Khripin, a familiar face for our regular audience. Misha is the product owner at Balancy, and he's also industry veteran with more than 25 years of experience. Can you imagine? He has worked for major companies like Wargaming, Nexters, and he was handling live operations in top-performing titles of Nexters like Hero Wars Mobile. And last but not least, he is also the author of the book that we are going to discuss today. This is our agenda. First of all, we'll start with a quick introduction to our new book, what it is about, who is it for. Then with Michal, we will discuss key strategies mentioned in the book, like first purchase bonuses, segmentation, but we will give more depth to these points, discuss them in more detail. And after that, we will dive into more advanced strategies and additional revenue sources like subscriptions, sequences of offers, which go a little bit beyond the book. They were not covered there, but still they are very important to touch upon. And in the meantime, while we will be discussing all these many things, Misha Khripin will show us a couple of Balancy demo examples with how the tactics that we talk about can be implemented in the Balancy. It will be short, it will be fun and dynamic, so don't worry, it's not going to be boring. And yeah, let's start. So in mid-July, we released our new book called Best Practices for In-Game Shops, Design Secrets and Personalization Strategies to Unlock Revenue Growth. The launch, frankly speaking, exceeded our expectations. The book went viral with downloads and it got featured by major gaming media outlets like Pocket Gamer. If you haven't downloaded it yet, here's the link on the screen. You can follow it and download it for free. And the book covers everything from designing your shop layout to how shops vary across genres and further to advanced conversion techniques and audience segmentation. I have a question to the author of the book, of course, because I think this was quite a challenging task to try and consolidate all these best practices for game shops into one single source of truth, because there's so many in-game shops. They're all different in different genres of games. So, Misha, for you, how challenging it was?
Well, I would say it was quite challenging, but not impossible. Different games and implement these best practices in their own way, but you can see common patterns. The challenge was to make the book relatively short and easy to read. The whole theme is so wide, the book could be 10 times bigger, I would say. So the concept is to make it a fuel for imagination and interpretation, to provide the starting point for designers and not the ultimate solution. I'm not pretending for the only source of truth here. To provide some structure for thinking on game shops, so it would be easy to start working on them, and while having some kind of a checklist on the table using this book. I would say that would be good for me. It will, if it will be achieved. So let's see.
I think you've managed this task pretty well. Like the book is 40 pages, but it covers all the most key aspects of the topic. If, by the way, guys who read the book, you can write us in the chat what would be the optimal size of such a book for you, because I've heard different opinions. For some, it's perfect, like 40 pages. Some people require like even more depth. Others are saying, oh no, 40 pages, I don't have time to read all of that. I need some quick solutions, quick answers. Like I would go for like 15 pages. So if you have your opinion on that, please feel free to share with us. We always listen to your opinions, and maybe our next book is gonna be just like you want. All right, so one of the strategies that was mentioned in the book was the first purchase bonus. This is a very common conversion tactics that provides additional value during the first purchase of each item in the shop. It can be featured as reward double multiplier or additional percentage on the item in the shop. And the goal here is to encourage players to make the first purchase on the one hand, but on the other hand it also encourages people explore different pack sizes from the smaller to the bigger ones. So it's kind of twofold. Here on the screen, you can see an example from the 𝗵𝗿 by Ghoulie Games. This is, I would say, a very standard implementation of the first purchase bonus, where you can see we have some packs and the double value for buying each of them for the first time. Michal, can you share some examples maybe from other games, and are there any modifications of this tactic, or is this the only way to run it?
Yeah, so I think it's a basic way to have it in the shop, which is a great converter, having the double value for the purchase. But what other games, here you can see 3 examples from Monopoly Go, Coin Master, and Hunt Royale, which makes it a little bit better, I would say, to convert the user. They're using the progressive bonus. So basically, the higher package in terms of the value you will buy, the higher the bonus will be. So as you can see on the screen, the values for each of the packs are higher than the normal value. So let's say it starts from plus 20% for the lowest price point, and let's say plus 20 plus 200 for the highest, which works on 2 things on the user, I would say. The first thing is it's a little bit different from other games, so you perceive it as something different, maybe something better. And on top of that, the user is willing to pay more because they see, okay, if I will choose the higher package, I will have the higher bonus. So we are just doing things that can on both ways do something for the user. I think this is a better conversion. Yeah. And there's as well like another modification which Coin Master did actually. If we could, yeah, exactly, to the next slide. So they as well introduced a coupon where you have it around like day 0 after 20 minutes of playing, I think, and you have two bonuses on top of each other. So you have bonus for the hard currency that it was before, that is progressive and it's higher for all the packages. And on top of that, you have this coupon, which is only for I think like 12 hours, and it increases the value for the base hard currency. So this is a great thing to convert the users, because you have two bonuses at the same time. With one is limited with the time, the second one is for the lifetime. So you are like, oh, so that's my occasion to buy it. And if you are stacking these bonuses, then the value is like crazy, like maybe like a 10x, maybe a 20x in some games, which is like, oh my god, this is so good. And actually, sometimes I think users are more willing to purchase this instead of the starter packs, where the welcome packs and the starter packs were the basic monetization for the F2E, and right now it changes to this bonus as well. So if I want a bundle with different things, I can go to a starter pack. But if I don't know the value, and as we know, the user on the very beginning of the game, the perceived value, they don't know about the content, the hard currency is more or less known value, then you can just buy this one. So I think this is a great way to implement in the shop.
Actually, Michal, when you posted this tactic on LinkedIn, there was one very interesting comment question, like why did they choose this, particularly this number, 600%? Because, and I was also wondering the same. Like, I know you are not on that team, so you only can guess. But what your thoughts are? Is it related to some game economy calculations? Is it some sort of A/B testing?
I mean, I'm in love with game economy as well, but it's a controversial thing because it all depends on the product, game needs, user needs, etc. But I have two thoughts on that, as said on LinkedIn as well. So the first thought is they either like A/B tested it or calculated it in some Excel, and to not like overlap with other IAPs or with the progression. So that's the number that they can maximally give to not progress too much the user, but to still give them the opportunity to sell other offers in the shop or in the game. But the second thought, when I was thinking about this question, I was like, nor 500%, 800, etc. are giving the perfect number with the zeros in the end of the value. And maybe that's just a coincidence, but maybe they have some A/B tested conclusion that it's better selling item with all the zeros when the number is like clear. So maybe that's that as well. But for sure they like A/B tested it. So those are my
okay. And they found that this is like some magic number for their audience, because I would logically go probably for 500%, like, because it's nice round number. But of course, it's much more complex than that.
Yeah, sure.
Cool. So moving forward, a little bit of Balancy magic. Misha? Wait a second, I will share your screen. So now we are sharing.
Yeah, I would like to add that on top of the using first purchase bonus, we have other types of multiplying outcome of the purchased item. And one of them is the sales multiplier that is embedded into our game shop. And now I'd like to show you how to use it. First of all, we need to create an event. Let's say this event will give like 300% value in the shop. And it will be active every day from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m., for example. And the logic behind this event will be just using this multiplier to turn on this multiplier for this period of time and then turn it off. And we create the script. This is it.
It's a pretty simple script, just a couple of notes.
Yes, everything you shall do. just activate the multiplier, put the number 3 here, and wait until the event will finish. So this node on script will exit will activate it as well, and reset this multiplier. And after that, you can go to the game store, and for example, this sale using this multiplier, we will use this 4 packs of gold. For this, I'm using this button, sale, and I will add to this list these 4 packs. So I will just add something in this very simple way here. Of course, it's duplicated right now. And when I saving my changes, everything is complete. So we have the list of packs that will go for sale. We have event that will be activated on time condition here. And we have a script which will activate this multiplier, which will give 3 times more value if user buy those packs. And that's it.
So you've attached here this to the event, but it's also possible to make it just without any event, like for all audience that open the shop.
Sure.
Yeah, that's also possible. Awesome. All right. Let me switch back to the presentation.
Oh.
Everything is good.
No, that's okay. I was surprised to see myself.
So moving on to the next point. Actually, one of the favorite chapters personally for me in the book is about segmentation, because without segmentation, you are most likely losing money. And this is the question that most developers are so curious about, because it's not always easy to know what criteria to use to segment your audiences for the shop purposes. And in the book, we provide you with a very convenient basic table on the most common segmentation criteria, such as life cycle stage, progression, payment status, resource deficits, for example. The logic here is pretty simple. In the last column here, you can see the strategies example that we would use in relation to each of these segments. Very easy example. We have a segment of newcomers, newbies, and veterans, those end game players. And logically, for the newcomers, you would be offering some very simple starter packs with very clear value. So if you're offering, let's say, gems or coins, you should have already taught your players by tutorial or somehow else why they need it, what they can purchase it, and why they need it right now in the game process. So it's something super simple. Whereas when we are targeting veterans, we would have much more freedom in terms of variety of items we're selling. We would go more into customization. We would go more into some unique content probably that would entertain them better as veteran players. Michal, can you add something on this segmentation? What was, in your experience, you've been working in multiple companies, what is the most common segmentation criteria for segmenting your audience for in-game shop purposes?
Yeah, so maybe I can add a few things about the pricing because you showed there to divide the users to group to whales and to minnows, etc. So first question is, if you want to make the segments for pricing, is how many groups you should have and how to put users into the groups, into the brackets, into the segments. And the most common thing in the industry, I think, is to having 2 factors, which is the payment and the time. And then the question is, if we start with the payment, is if you should check the sum of the payments of user or maximum of the payments, maybe average, median, maybe you want to check last 5. of IAPs they bought. So that's the first thing you should A/B test in your game. And the second factor is the time. So, for hybrid games, for mid-core games, for casual games, it all will be different. And you will have to check the time as well. So if you check this, let's say you have a payment, let's say soon, if you check it for lifetime or you check it for last month, last week, if you have, let's say, like mid-core game, we just strongly focus on hard monetization, you probably want to check it like each week, each 2 weeks, maybe maximum, each month. And if you have like hybrid game, sometimes even the lifetime, it's okay, because the life cycle of the user is not that long. And if you already know how to segment the user, so you have, let's say, a few groups, then the question is what kind of prices they should see. So let's imagine we have a bracket of users who spend $20. So the question is if we should show them $20, $50 offer, maybe $2 offer. So I would say about the prices, then the first question is how many of prices they should see. If they should see 2, 3, 4 prices. I think the common practice in the industry is 2 to 4 prices for the offers. Again, you should A/B test that for your product needs, and because it all differs. And with my experience in different games with different genres, it all depends on the genre, on the audience even. So you should check it with your A/B testing. But then if you know, okay, so we have brackets with users, we have few brackets, we know how many of prices we want to show, then the question is what prices to show. And that's very interesting. And I would say that's never ending story. You will probably until the end of the developing of the game making this, is if they should see, let's say, the same price as the bucket. So let's say if we have the bucket with $20, if they should see the $20 and $50, maybe $10 and $20. The most common, again, practice in the industry is to show the same price point as the bucket and one higher to uplift them in the ladder so they can progress to next segment and they can convert to being higher spender. But in some cases it could be different. So again, it's all up to A/B testing on the product needs, but the common industry practice is to check the payment, the time, amount of prices, and the same price as the bucket plus one higher.
Actually, we have a question in the chat. Guys want to clarify what do you mean by how many prices? I think amount of offers or what? I think you mean pricing points, right?
Yeah, the price points. Yeah. So let's say we have a shop, and in the shop we have, let's say, an offer for this weekend, and the question is if you show just one offer for this user, or we show two offers with, let's say, one offer for $10 and the second one for the $20, and we scale the content by double, or maybe a little bit better, so they can have a better X value / better discount for buying a higher price point, or maybe they should have free offers. So let's say for $10, $20, and $50. So they can choose whatever price point they would like to buy. There is on top of that, there's another question I would say as well. Users are willing to spend different amount of money on the different content. So it's even deeper if you go into that. Sometimes user, let's say, buys $20 and $5 offers. The question is if they always maybe spend $20 for hard currency because they see better value and the perceived value is bigger, and for $5 they just spend for the cosmetics and etc. So it's very as well crucial to check the content of the offers and to think, okay, in how many price points we want to show this offer or this content in how many offers.
Yeah, now it's clear. So it's more about the special offers that you can still place inside the in-game shop. They don't have to be always pop-ups. They also can be placed in the in-game shop. So we are in the framework of in-game shops still.
Yeah, of course, in in-game shops. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So moving forward to personalization. Actually, this is tightly connected to segmentation. It's just a step up from the segmentation when you go and customize the experience of players not based on segments, but you personalize the experience of every individual player. And this can be challenging to implement, but it's not impossible, of course. And we have an interesting case study of Game Garden in the book, which Misha Khripin will now briefly guide us through. However, if you will be interested in the details, you can always check it in the book, chapter 5, and read about it in more detail.
Yes, thank you, Yulia. So I will tease a bit you with the book's content. The case that Game Garden wanted to solve here was that they understood that the player play the game differently, because the game has multiple resources which players use and spend during the gameplay. They have, it's a garden game about growing flowers. So they have water, soil, seeds, fertilizer, and other types of resources. And they discovered that at some point in time, players have deficits of these resources, of different resources in different moments. Sometimes player lacking water, and other times they lacking soil, for example. And they decided to make the shop offerings more personal. So they used Balancy to create the logic which follows the state of the user's deficits, of the amounts of resources the particular user has, and they adopt the shop by showing those offers or resource packs that are based on the current deficit. If the player is lacking fertilizer, for example, they will show in the shop the packs with fertilizer. So the player visiting the shop will be much more motivated to buy this pack. And they achieved it pretty well. They told us they had about 40% improvement of the revenue from the shop, only from the shop. This part of the revenue that comes only from the shop, it became 40% bigger. And I think it's a very good example of how you can learn from your players' behavior and how you can adopt your shop to address these personal needs.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. That's an interesting example. I know that Michal also has some example on personalization in games in dynamic offers while working on the Hunt Royale game at Boombit.
Yeah, that's a great example here. And here's something similar, I would say. So back in time, 2 years ago, like around that, we created the dynamic offers system for Hunt Royale, for the offers that you can see on the right side. And the offers were created by the system, so it didn't have like any tool to click them. So each time it was made by itself. And it is based on the user behavior and inventory. So something similar to the previous example where we are checking, the currency statuses, what they are lacking, what of the characters they are playing, what is the style of playing, etc., etc., etc. And based on all those things, on top of that, there was a different focus each week. So those offers were from Friday to Sunday for a whole weekend, each weekend. And each week was different focus on, let's say, perks or some skins, some of the currencies, etc. And based on all of that, of course, we have different price points as well because of the segmentation, and it make around 100K of unique offers in total. So each time, each user, each week get different offer. So it was not like we share the offer for the group of users, but each user uniquely had created an offer specifically for what he needs. And it was a great thing back in time. And if you can check the next slides, the improvement was the uplift of the monthly revenue by 12%, which could be as well seen on the revenue. It is on the whole experience with the revenue, but I mark some of the weekends in the middle because they are more visible due to later on we had much more offers and you can see them, but here you see the small spikes, and in total it was around 12% of the revenue from those offers.
But the crazy amount of offers you had, like 100K of unique offers. So you must have developed some solution like on your side for that, right?
Yeah, we didn't use any tool. We created it on our side. Our developers wrote the whole code and the system for it. So it was made by the system. I mean, each time it was checked by the UI if all things that we want to give the user will fit into the UI, and the prices were calculated itself, etc., etc. So everything was created by the developers to not break like in the meantime of the creation.
This sounds like a very sophisticated solution.
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, it was working. It brought you such an uplift in revenue.
Yeah. I mean, it didn't took us that long, but I probably can't share how long we work on that. But yeah, it was the like uplift from
quite long.
Yeah, I mean, I can share, but yeah.
Got it. Actually, we have some solution on the Balancy side that can implement kind of similar things, like with dynamic offers, where you can customize the offer, the pricing for individual players. Misha, do you want to show us?
Yes, I can try to show you. Just a moment. We'll have another demo loaded. Just a second. I would like to talk about the dynamic reward. We have this kind of setting for store items, which allows this thing, dynamic reward parameter for each store item, that allows us to create the script and connect the script to the particular store item, which will calculate the reward given upon buying this store item, not the fixed list of items like it's shown here, but calculated by script on the go. So when this store item is being purchased, the script attached here, let me show you maybe some scripts that we have here. Just a second. Reward creation, like that one. It will be executed. It will create the list for items. It will populate it with the item, inserting to this list in a given amount of this item, particular item, and fill the list and give it back to the point where the script was executed, and the user will have the dynamically reward calculated instead of this fixed list. So this could be used to create dynamic content for any offer. which will be based on any logic that you will incorporate into the script that calculates the reward. That's
Awesome. Thanks for sharing.
So quick, I guess.
Yeah, you don't need to wait months, just a couple of clicks. We actually have a question from Alexei. How does your system calculate the amount of dynamic reward item based on price in USD or else by script?
You can create the matching between for each item in your game. You can specify the price in dollars actually, and it's up to you. All our items are fully customizable for you. You can add any property to the item and create your kind of item for your particular project. And for example, if you add the parameter to the item, which will represent the price in dollars for that item, you can always have access to this parameter when you calculate the reward, and you can calculate it based on this individual price.
I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, I can show you here. For example, we have the items here, and you can easily add, for example, the new parameter called like dollar price, and it will be integer. And when you go back to the documents, you see you have this column here, and you can just start to add some numbers. For example, this elixir costs like $1, or dark elixir costs $2. Okay, it would be better to make it a floating number, not integer, but you get the idea. And when you have all this set up, you can use this parameter in the script just for doing some maths and to combine the whole list of rewards based on total price from this parameter you set. That's it.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Now we are going back to the presentation. And the next point we will be discussing is subscriptions. Michal, I know you are the fan of subscriptions, so tell us why we should all think about them.
I mean, to say I'm a fan, that's basically to say nothing, because I'm in love with subscriptions, actually, I would say. So here I put some examples from different games, from genres, from hybrid casual games to casual games to mid-core games. And subscriptions, I think there's a common trend in the industry that more often the companies are picking the subscription to use it. But still, there are many games, many companies which are not using the subscriptions, and there is a big leverage on that, which we'll talk on the next slide about. But yeah, I think the subscriptions are a great placement for the shop and for the monetization of the games, and it could be fit to the different games. Mainly the subscriptions work as a recurring payment. So let's say we have subscriptions for $20, then each month, each week, etc. We have this $20 from the card as the payment. We don't have to pay like each month. It is once paid, and then it's recurring. So it's like the same as with Netflix and etc. And it gives many advantages, and maybe we can jump into that from the next slide. So from pros, I think the biggest pros is there is half better fees, which is crazy big amount, I think. Where for Play Store it is instant, so as soon as you subscribe, we as a companies are having half fees from the store. For iOS, it is after 1 year of subscribing. So for iOS, it is better for like mid-core games where the user lives like 1, 2, 3 years and more. Where for Play Store, you instantly get the half fees, so from the 30% to 15%. And we all know that right now the companies are trying to, sell offers on their stores to lower down the fees. And the subscription is one of the examples how you can do it without having it on the store. You can still have this placement in the game shop and have the better fees. The second great thing about subscriptions is that you can give it for free for like 1 day, for 3 days, etc. So the user can try this out, and let's say, imagine as a user you play, let's say like 1-2 days with the subscription, you are having the better bonuses, better yields, etc. And then it ends and you feel like, oh, so that's how it is without the subscription, and you are like, maybe I will just buy it. And that's something that converts user because they can, I will just try, and then the flawless experience, it's so great that you are like, okay, I will just stay with the subscription. So it's a great way, because for other iApps you can't give a try mode. The another thing about subscriptions, I think, is engagement. So retention, playtimes, like overall engagement is better than to normal spenders because they're trying to play more, because the subscriptions are based on activity mostly. So most of the subscriptions, if you can maybe jump slide back, most of the subscriptions are giving us a rewards 3 things. The first thing is the passive bonuses, so like better yields for fishing, for farming, for killing monsters, etc. You have like more, let's say, experience, more soft currency, etc. So the passive bonuses. The second thing that subscriptions mainly reward the user as time-wise rewards, such as like daily hard currency boost, weekly package, monthly package, etc. And the third thing is vanity items like titles, some visuals, skins, etc. So those 3 things are offered by subscriptions in most of the games. And then we can move to this next slide. One previous, yeah. So that's why the engagement is better from the subscribers even than normal spenders, when we already know that retention of spenders is around twice better than non-spenders, and subscribers is even better than the spenders, because with each activity, not with each milestone, but with each activity, they get the more reward, so they want to play more. And last but not least, from the pros of subscription is it is great because of a tier system. So you can have one subscription with like 3 tiers, and you can sell subscription for, let's say, like $5, $10, and $20. So you can cover all the user needs for different like audience, for different group of the users, and you can offer different things. So this is great, and as well this converts great, as you can see, like, oh, so if I pay just a little bit more, I will get more in the list of the bonuses, etc., etc. So subscriptions are really, really great, and yeah, from my experience, I use them in few games, and it is great. From the cons, I only see one point where it is easy to cannibalize other iApps, to overlap with other things, because it is with each activity. So there's no cap, like with the battle passes, you have a cap, like daily cap for the tokens or whatever for the experience. With the subscription, you don't have a cap, so you have to carefully calculate your game economy to not give too much to cannibalize other iApps. But besides that, I think this is a great placement.
Do you have any rough idea? Of course you have, but can you share with us what is the percentage of the revenue that subscriptions usually bring? Is it more towards, like, I don't know, 40-50% of the total revenue of the game, or is it like smaller, like 5-10%?
Sadly, I can't share that. So
Okay.
I'm not anymore in Boombit, and so I can share those things.
Okay, got it. No worries. And yeah, one more question I have here is subscriptions a fit for any kind of genre? Because I can imagine that, for example, hybrid casual games, which have a lower retention rate, maybe it doesn't make sense to have a subscription for them. I know there are certain successful examples on the market. For example, in Mob Control by Voodoo, they offer two kinds of subscriptions, the more expensive one and the less expensive one. And I think it works great for their game, but we also should keep in mind that they are like a hit game, and probably even though it's a hybrid casual game, they might have a very high retention numbers. Whereas Voodoo is often compared to Say games and this kind of battle between studios, between games. And if we look at one of the top titles by Say games, My Perfect Hotel, I think they don't have subscriptions, and what they offer is Game Pass instead. So in each hotel that you play, you can buy a hotel pass. Again, they have two options, the less expensive, the more expensive one, but it's not like recurring payment. It's more like you buy once and that's it. What do you think about it?
Yeah, so first I want to say that there is an example from the Say games with subscription, by the way, from My Little Universe.
I think it was
well.
here. Yeah, I think it was here in the slide.
So in other game, they are doing it as well, where they don't have the battle pass actually in My Little Universe. And no, I think it's up to the depth of the game, probably. So it all depends if your game is, about, let's say, gathering and have linear progression where you can offer, let's say, better yields and some of the passive bonuses, then the subscription is a great fit. And I think it doesn't matter that much if it's hybrid casual or a casual game, because in both, I think subscription and battle pass is a great placement, which is very connected to the engagement, to the activity, and to the core loop of the game. The main difference, is that the battle pass rewards you on each milestone. So let's say each few missions, I got the level up and I get the rewards. Where with the subscription, you get based on activity. So with each action, basically, I'm getting more. So I think the best way is to have both if the depth of the game give you the option to that. Yeah. So here is the main example. And my question is why not both? So in games that I was working on, we had both the pass and the subscription, and it worked great. Actually, you can even connect that. So you can have, let's say, in subscription, you can have a bonus that you faster progress in the pass, or you have a better cap of the tokens for the progression in the pass. We had that in Hunt Royale, and it's great because the user wants to have both to, let's say, optimize their time in the game in order to have the most out of the rewards that they can get. But yeah, if there's a question which one to choose, if you have to choose one, I would say it all depends on the depth of the game and what your game offers. But if that's possible, I would use both. There are other examples that have both. Call of Duty Mobile is having Battle Pass and subscription as well. Darts Club as well is having both. Archero I don't know if that's hybrid casual or casual. I think maybe casual, but hard to say actually. It's like in the middle, maybe between hybrid casual and casual. But that's a great example where you have two subscriptions and two battle passes. I mean, one battle pass with 3-tier options. So that's even like deeper. So if that's possible, I would add as much as we can because it's a great converter, drives engagement, drives retention. It offers great value for the prices, let's say in comparison to special offers. Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. I suggest that we are moving forward to the next point. It's about sequences of offers, and it's the topic. Let's call it the terrain where we step a little bit into the subject of special offers, but still it's relevant for in-game shops as well. And again, we will not go probably too much in depth here, but we want to set up the framework for you, how you should start thinking about your in-game shop and your special offers. Michal, can you comment on your scheme that you have developed here?
Yeah, so long story short, the main idea behind the sequences of offers is that you show an offer, and then based on if user buys it or not, you give, let's say, higher offer if he buys it, better discount if he didn't, and you go deeper, 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 and create basically a decision tree of many, many offers that are sequenced by the user behavior. So based on what action in time the user will do, we will offer him specific price and specific offer. Of course, all the values I put here are just an examples. Again, you should A/B test everything for your product needs. But the known tactic as well is price anchoring, which I put on the top. So many games in the industry are doing that on the very beginning of the game. It's, let's say, like you have a starter pack and you have the price anchoring thing, which could be understood in two ways. So the first way is that you have a, let's say, few price points, few offers, let's say for $5, $10, $20, $50. And we are trying to check what is the capacity of user to spend money. And if he instantly gets the $50 offer, then we know that, okay, this could be a whale. So we want to offer him higher price points with better content, better values, etc. So that's one idea of price anchoring, where we are trying basically to anchor the let's say good price for the specific user. The other idea in the industry of price anchoring is you show, let's say, two offers or like more offers, where one is, let's say, bad offer. I mean, like lower X value, lower discount, not so good content. And on the other hand, you have like shiny offer, great X value, great discount, great price, maybe something better in the content. And you're like, oh, this offer looks great, and this like anchoring thing is this looks great, even better because it's compared to the worst offer. So there are two methods that could be called price anchoring that are in the industry, and you can do this on top of the sequences of offers. So you can check, okay, what is the capacity of user, and then you can place specific offers based on the patterns of the user.
And how do you usually implement these offers in the studio? Is it like, do you have an overview of these offers like in this scheme, or this scheme exists only, let's say, in 𝗵𝗀, and everything regarding the offers is just hard-coded and you cannot have this kind of overview of this scheme and change something?
Yeah, so it depends. It could be hard-coded, or either it could be controlled by remote config. So you basically control what kind of offers do we show, and then maybe you can control, let's say, prices, and you can like A/B test that, because of course all of those sequences of offers should be A/B tested. We have to have some control over them. But it is hard-coded, and then we A/B test them to check, what kind of values is best one, what kind of content is best. That's one thing, to A/B test that. But the second thing is, let's say, like the expert opinion to really understand the game, because sometimes we know exactly what user would need in day 0, day 3, day 7 of their playing time. So we try to offer this specific content, but then the question is which prices to show, how much this content we should show, if we sell the resources, how much of this we should show. So yeah.
I think it would be cool, like, for example, you have this 𝗵𝗀 scheme, to be able to change this scheme, like, remotely, just, edit an offer, type something, and it changes something in the game, or change the order of offers, values, and so on. And this is something that we can do and often do with visual scripting in Balancy. And I want to show Michael's screen. Misha, yes, can I share it?
Yes, of course, anytime,
Awesome.
please.
Mhm.
By the way, Michal, how do you like this night scheme, night theme, dark mode?
Dark is always better than white. I'm sorry for my coughing, but
Yeah,
it's
that's
always better. Yeah.
yeah. Just wanted to mention that we have light scheme and dark scheme on the platform. You can switch it here. Actually, when I was looking to your diagram from the previous slide, I thought that this is exactly how would our visual script look like for this logic. And here I will just show you the small part of it, which can be easily scaled by adding more and more nodes into the script path. For example, here we are starting the offer, and each offer has two ways of ending. Either it is ended by being purchased, or it's ended by a timer being expired, or player just closed the model window, for example, just refused. And we can create the scripts based on two ways. For example, if it's purchased, we go and offer something else. If it wasn't purchased, we can wait for some time and offer him another choice, and then again check if they choose this to buy or not, and then again do some next steps, or make some changes to this offer. For example, how I'm showing here how to apply the discount to the same offer. But the core idea that I wanted to show you here, that as on previous slide, you've seen the show offer, then bought, yes or not. And this whole logic is contained within only a single node here, show offer, if it was purchased or not. And that makes our scripts with these sequences of offers very easy to read and easy to build and easy to scale. That's it.
Yeah, that's a great example. Thank you, Misha, for sharing. And this one is a quite easy example. I just want to mention that we have even a case study with 𝗖𝗿 Army Tycoon game on our blog, where there are like hundreds of offers on this one screen, and they are all connected to each other. And depending on which offer you're choosing in the game, you're guided to the next offer and the next offer in the offer matrix, we call it. So you can check it out on our blog. All right, moving back to the presentation. So now let's move to the last point. Actually, we are running out of time. I mean, it's okay. We will stay a little bit longer because this webinar is so value-packed. I just can't stop it. But here's the last, but not least point that we will discuss today. And these are experiments with visual design and what kind of metrics uplift they can bring you.
Yeah, I think visual design is crucial if we are speaking about in-game shops, and with that I have some experience. I love this area as well. I did many experiments with it as well. So on the left side you can see the old and new shop. We changed it 1 year ago, I think. And on the right side you can see the improvement in the conversion. So we have a premium pass, the battle pass, and nothing changed, no content, no prices, basically nothing, just the visuals in the shop. And the conversion grew by half, which is crazy great value in terms of the money. But things on the left side you see from the illustration that there is some amount of soft and hard currency and some boxes, and the character. On the right side, it's constant scrolling content of the battle pass, and you as well can by your finger scroll it slowly to really check everything. So this makes this gives the better exposure for the placements and gives a little bit better summary what these placements offer. And on the left side as well, you can see all other details, and I think this really matters. Let's say even the background. It's a very small thing that we have the swords on the right side of the new shop. On the left side, it's just a plain background. And those swords on the right are slowly moving, which is, again, small detail. But if you sum up all of those things, I think it gives better exposure, better value, better quality. The users perceived this as a more premium game, more as a premium product. And we all know that if it's more premium, then it's more like more we willing to spend money on something premium. And yeah, that's one of my experiments from Hunt Royale.
Shall I move on to the next slide with examples? Yeah.
Yeah, and speaking about the trends with the visual design, I think right now the industry is moving towards animations and dynamic visuals instead of static images, static offers. And here I put 3 examples. Of course, if you're speaking about the visual design in mobile games, Brawl Stars, like probably there is no better shop in mobile games than made by Brawl Stars. So we can maybe check that if you could share this.
Yes.
Awesome. So yeah, here is the shop, and again, if you see all of those offers, everything is moving, everything is nice and shine. I'm not even speaking about the VFXs, which was a common standard in the industry, but on top of that, all the characters are animated, are moving, are just waving to your face, which is great, and like here you have vanity items which are as well moving. So we know that attention span of the world right now is decreasing, and those animations are making you basically to check all of those things. We catch your eye because of that. So this is one example. We can jump to another example from...
Yeah, just a second. I just wanted to say that it looks really awesome. Thanks for sharing this example. But I think there is also, there might be a difference in ages. Because this, for Gen Z, for Gen Alpha, I imagine this is like a must-have. Whereas maybe for millennials like me, it would be a little bit overwhelming. Although I like it, I must say. But or for people older than me, like it might be already a little bit overwhelming.
Yeah, I totally agree. And big picture-wise, if we check games by Supercell, who made the Brawl Stars, we have the Brawl Stars, which is the Gen Z audience, and it is the most animated and dynamic. Then you have Clash Royale, which is like in between. The audience is older, and you have animations there, but not so many as in the Brawl Stars. And then you have Heyday, which I think is the oldest audience from Supercell, and there's even less animations than in Clash Royale. So what I want to say, of course, it's all about your audience and all about your product. But even in Heyday, they are introducing animations, and overall the industry is moving to animations and having the, maybe not animations itself, but the dynamic visuals than static one, because it is easier to catch your attention. But amount of the animations, it should be picked by your audience and by your product.
Yeah, I can imagine, for example, how you can use like a little of animation is by, for example, putting light, some sparkles around the item. So it doesn't have to be like that much moving, that much animation like here in this example, but even
the
for
particle
like,
effects, yeah?
Yeah, like even for older audience, if you just want to add a little bit, like to draw their attention to a particular item in the shop, you can add, I don't know, some nice lightning around, which is sparkling or moving around, that can work for, I think, for any age.
Exactly.
So let's move to the next example.
And it's example by Save Games, who did My Little Universe, and this is a subscription, actually. I just wanted to show how it is greatly introduced, what kind of the bonuses it offers for the user. And again, it's animated, not so shiny, not so many things are happening on the screen, but it's great visual to show the bonuses.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have offer. So I tried to, have shop and some placements as well. And here is an example by SS Snaker, where you have an offer for, I think, for the whole suit, for the armor, and it is as well animated, which looks great. And we see much more offers like this in the Coin Master, in other games as well. So all those hit games are creating those offers because we all love if this moving is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. So let me stop sharing. Mm-hmm. And where's our presentation? I think actually that's it. I think we've answered most or even all questions from the chat. Guys, if you have any additional questions, feel free still to write us. We have a couple of minutes left if you want to ask anything to Michal. If not, we will be slowly wrapping up the session. I would like to say huge thanks to Michal, huge thanks to Misha for participating in this session, for this productive discussion. I enjoyed it. I've learned a lot, honestly. And the recording will be shared on YouTube. So everyone, don't worry. If you need a presentation, just write me via email. I will send you the presentation. And if no one wants to add anything, we will be wrapping up. Guys, what do you think? Thank you,
I think if
Danilo.
there's no other question, then that's great. It was amazing to be here speaking about things I love. Yeah.
Thank you, Michal. Thank you for participating. It was our pleasure to meet you here.
Oh, wait a second. Wait a second. Just 1 second. We have one question, I think, in the last second of the webinar. So, question from Alexei. What is your most interesting experience with in-app purchases and games? Thanks for presentation. It was great. Most interesting experience. That's a broad term. We can use any, I don't know, unusual case or...
So maybe for me, I don't know if that's most interesting because the question is very broad. But I would say most interesting, most shocking for me was how big visual design has impact on cost to value ratio, which I show the difference in conversion in Battle Pass just by changing the UI in the shop. The cost of it is not so big as implementing new economy, new placement, and the value out of it is crazy good. So for me, it was very interesting in the journey that sometimes small things can really have big impacts, and it's worth to have that in mind. That's one thing that comes to my mind right now. Yeah, and A/B test, of course.
Yeah,
awesome.
I could give you some interesting example of interesting experiments as well from my practice. Back in the day when I was working in Nexters, some of our whales from iOS were jealous to Android users because on Android we had the price point for $300 and in one click, and on iOS the maximum was 100. So these guys complain that they have to make 3 clicks instead of 1 to buy the same stuff.
This is such a nice problem to have.
Yeah, I
love
had that
those
kind
guys.
of issues as well with the users, and I think now with like nowadays stores, we are all happy that we can offer like $2,000 IAPs on the store. So there is no longer the issue, but I heard about some stories like this as well, and that's funny, yeah. But that's a great issue.
It's a good
Yeah.
problem to have.
Good
Yeah.
problem to have. Yeah.
All right, guys. By the way, if anyone from our audience is going to visit Gamescom, please ping me. We can meet, say hi to each other. Yeah, and that's all I wanted to say. We can wrap it up. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.